I don't know if you're familiar with me coming forward, but when I came forward in 2019, the first thing that happened was that Edward Isaac Dovere of The Atlantic wrote a hit piece about me before. Now you have to understand, the article hadn't even been printed yet. It was on like the AP wire. Within hours, he was online calling me a Russian asset. And then throwing up all these things because I said good, positive things about Russia. Well, and it was used to try to discredit me. And the first question, one of the first questions from the New York Times was if I had an online Russian boyfriend. They were just totally focused because, of course, I couldn't have any independent thoughts. I had to have a man telling me what to think, right?
Right. And again, yeah, and even if you had an online Russian boyfriend, you're allowed to have one. Like, many of us have all kinds of connections to all kinds of people. And
relatives or whatever. Yeah, that are Russian. I mean, like, what right did they have to do that? But because this is what happened. Apparently, the New York Times went to Joe Biden's campaign and said, this person is a former staffer and said this happened. And there's a harassment report. There's these, contemporaneous evidence. And they just faxed back my articles about Russia being positive and implied that I was a Russian asset. And that was it.
Yeah, no,
and that's the way we went.
The two are related, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like, well, but of course they were blaming Russia for everything, right? Kaepernick's, when he kneeled, they said that was Putin, and the Black Lives Matter, that was Putin, and the truckers in Canada, that was Putin. I mean,
baby formula, not having enough baby formula in the US, that's Vladimir Putin's fault. Well, I mean, and this is the thing. I don't know. It doesn't matter who would be president of Russia, right? They would be attacking that person in a personal way like they are. So my point is with this is, I just use my personal example, is that the whole excuse for anything going awry or going off, the talking points for the empire is that it's Russia's fault or specifically Vladimir Putin's fault. So when it comes to the regime change in my lifetime, I have never seen such rhetoric so violent towards a leader other than, I guess, Gaddafi, from our country. I mean, what is your thought on that?
No, I think I think it certainly rises to one of the highest levels I've ever seen. I do think Gaddafi was up there. I mean, ever since, I'm 54, I'll be 54 years old in a couple weeks, 54 years old. And since I was a child, Gaddafi was always painted as this evil monster. So he was always big. Of course, the leaders in North Korea, but Putin's certainly up there. And Putin certainly, I think, is the most vilified Russian leader, probably since Stalin.
Yeah.
And Stalin wasn't really vilified until he died, right? I mean, because he was Uncle Joe. He helped with, he didn't just help. We helped him kind of defeat the Nazis. I mean, the Soviet Union really did defeat the Nazis with a little help from his friends, right?
At the great loss of 27 million people. Yeah.
Right. And now we claim we won the war. I mean, again, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But, Stephen F. Cohen used to say, I mean, you can find pictures of John F. Kennedy hugging Khrushchev, right?
Right.
Nixon, of course, went to China, met with Mao, and he met with Brezhnev. Carter met with Brezhnev, and these guys had respect for each other. Like, again, this level of vilification for a Russian leader, is unprecedented, again, because even Stalin in his lifetime, I mean, Roosevelt was sitting down with him, Churchill was sitting down with him. You've never seen this type of vilification.
Or cancel, or trying to cancel a country. I mean, you're trying to cancel 1,000 years of cultural, science, technology, literature, music, every athletics that's contributed to the world. And I've never seen anything like how they're trying to cancel it and even erase history. I mean, trying to ban Dostoevsky, trying to ban Russian athletes from participating in Wimbledon and in the Boston Marathon. I mean, cats from the International Cat Show. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, this is racism, pure and simple. I mean, I mean, we even had the State Department claiming that Russia had no culture. right? That
Ugh,
it was like what a
like
gas
America
station,
does.
a gas station posing as a country. And again, what about Tolstoy? You know, who wrote what is
Mhm.
arguably the greatest novel of all time, War and Peace.
Right.
Dostoevsky, the great composers, right?
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
Tchaikovsky and Prokofiev and Shostakovich, and you had Sergei Eisenstein, one of the early great filmmakers. I mean,
And the
Russian
first
culture,
space and the first astronaut
of
into
course,
space, you know?
right.
I mean, it's amazing the
It's amazing
contributions.
what Russia has done for
Mhm.
the world, and it's disgusting how they are being, as you say, canceled, a whole culture. And that's
Canceled.
why, you know, the Russian people are shocked by this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Putin's been saying this for years. They
Right.
hate us. Okay. And most Russians are like, no, that's not true. That can't be true. And then all of a sudden, of course, the special operation begins and they see these things happen.
The
You know,
village. Yeah.
sports teams uninvited, singers uninvited to things. And they
Yeah.
realize, oh, wow, you're right. They hate us. They hate us. It's not, they don't just hate you and the government. They hate us. They hate Russians. I mean, it's actually incredible.
I don't understand it, especially because it's clear there are neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Clear.
Yeah.
Um,
The
and
US
then
has been helping and funding.
Mhm.
And you know, one thing I like to remind people, you know, one piece of evidence of this is that people forget, you know, Congressman John Conyers from Michigan,
Mhm.
he sponsored a congressional resolution which passed Congress and was
Mhm.
signed by Obama to stop supporting Nazis in Ukraine. Okay, so the entire Congress and the president acknowledged they were the Nazis who the US was
Right.
funding. And then, of course, Congress decided, oh, I guess we need to fund Nazis. So they actually repealed that ban on funding Nazis. This is true. So, like, the United States Congress and the president of the United States acknowledged at that time there's Nazis. We've been funding them. Let's
Mhm.
stop it. Well, then let's start it again. The point is, no one was disputing the
Right.
existence of these Nazis.